Thank you for attending the 2026 Stormwater Code and Manual Update Review and Stormwater 101 training. Especially well-timed with this clear picture of the Space Needle, downtown Seattle skyline, and Mount Rainier reflecting today's weather.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to SDCI's Stormwater Review 101. As part of this review, we will be highlighting the most significant updates to the 2026 Stormwater Code and Manual update. My name is Edie Courtenay, and I manage the SDCI's Stormwater Engineering team. Thanks for joining us. After you have listened to this presentation, we encourage you to join one of the virtual Q&A sessions. The dates for the Q&A opportunities will be posted on the Stormwater Code page. We also will record the Q&A sessions and make them available in the training section of our Stormwater Code page. So this is basically a drainage review boot camp. If you are new to meeting Seattle's stormwater requirements associated with your project, this will be very helpful. Even if you are an experienced designer or engineer with many projects under your belt, we still believe this review will be quite useful. You can always skip past the slides where we discuss something you feel you're well versed in, but don't miss the 2026 updates shown throughout the presentation in orange. A quick housekeeping note: to make this presentation accessible to all, we will be conveying everything on the slides, but also adding additional context and detail. A transcript of the presentation will be available. All right, let's get started.
Hi, I'm Andrew Delia, a senior civil engineer on the SDCI Stormwater Review team. We are covering a great deal of information here, so this agenda will be a useful tool for circling back to find slides on specific topics of interest. We will start with a quick tour of the SDCI Stormwater Code website, and then move into identifying what you'll need to determine the minimum stormwater management requirements for your project. We will show you how to identify your approved point of discharge for stormwater, and then discuss stormwater review requirements and stormwater management thresholds. We will define what we mean by hard surfaces and closely related projects and common plans of development. From there, we will move into the 4 kinds of stormwater best management practices, including on-site stormwater management, flow control, water quality, and source control. We will provide some information on infiltration testing and then walk you through some of the submittal documents, including the Stormwater Plan template and the Small Construction Stormwater Control and Soil Management Standard Plan. I know that one is a mouthful, but for projects with less than 5,000 square feet of new or replaced hard surface, it is completely filled out for you. All you need to do is include it in your plan set. We will finish with some tips and tricks to expedite review and avoid seemingly pesky correction cycles. Note that the material found in this slideshow that relates to a change in the 2026 code and manual will be orange text. And of course, we will tell you how to contact us if you have any questions. Now we're going to walk through SDCI's Stormwater Code website. Following the link in the presentation, you will find yourself at the SDCI Stormwater Code website. Begins with a brief description of the manual and its purpose, followed by the actual 2026 Stormwater Code and legal documents related to that. There are 3 copies, clean and track changes of the 2026 Stormwater Manual, as well as individual volumes and appendices broken out for easy access. Next, there's a link to Seattle Public Utilities Public Drainage System Requirements. These are helpful where SDCI hands off jurisdiction to SPU for drainage that leaves private property. The next section is related to submittal documents, where you'll find PDF and CAD versions of the Construction Stormwater Control Plan and the Stormwater Plan, as well as standard notes and details in both PDF and CAD, and Excel spreadsheets for both the OSM list approach calculator and the pre-sized flow and water quality calculator. Lastly, both infiltration checklists are found here. The next section helps by explaining the triggers for stormwater review through various permits and land disturbing activity. Following that, we'll have a repository of trainings. As they are complete, they will be uploaded here. You'll also find reference materials. Beneath that is a section related to projects that require professional engineers. This section has helpful information regarding stormwater modeling and drainage report preparation. This section relates to the Construction Stormwater General Permit, Department of Ecology's Industrial Stormwater Permit, King County Dewatering Authorization. And the last informational section is related to infiltration facilities that may be considered underground injection control wells. At the very bottom of this SDCI stormwater website are 3 past versions of the Stormwater Code and Manual for reference. Determining minimum requirements. To determine your minimum requirements, you want to first identify the project type. Note that in 2026, as designated in orange, there are no more single-family projects as it relates to the Stormwater Code. Is your project parcel-based, a remediation project, a utility project, a pavement maintenance project, or a retrofit project? Then you'll want to total your proposed new plus replaced hard surface. Next, you'll need to identify the approved point of discharge for stormwater. And lastly, you'll need to identify the receiving water for stormwater runoff. Reference the flowchart in Volume 1, Chapter 4, titled Minimum Requirements Based on Project Type in the Stormwater Manual. This will help you determine if the project requires soil management, on-site stormwater management, flow control, water quality, and/or source control. It will also help you determine if the following flow control standards apply: peak control standard, pre-developed forested standard, pre-developed pasture standard, and/or the wetland protection standards. Stormwater review requirements. Stormwater review is required for all projects with 750 square feet or more of new plus replaced hard surface. For projects equal to or greater than 750 square feet, drainage review is required, and the submittal requirements are a small project, CSC, soil standard plan, a stormwater plan, and an infiltration investigation only if there is no off-site approved point of discharge. For projects greater than or equal to 750 square feet on a lot adjusted in size after 2016, stormwater review is required and on-site stormwater management applies to the project. The submittal requirements include the small project CSC soil standard plan, the stormwater plan, the OSM calculator, and an infiltration investigation if the site is required to investigate infiltration feasibility or to prove infeasibility of infiltrating BMPs. For projects greater than or equal to 1,500 square feet of new plus replaced hard surface, stormwater review is required and on-site stormwater management applies. The submittal requirements are the same: a small project CSC soil standard plan, a stormwater plan, the OSM calculator, and an infiltration investigation. For projects greater than or equal to 5,000 square feet of new plus replaced hard surface, or 10,000 square feet of land disturbing activity, stormwater review is required, on-site stormwater management applies, flow control may apply, and water quality may apply. For these projects, the design is required to be performed by a licensed civil engineer, signed and stamped. A custom construction stormwater control and soil plan will be required, and a stormwater plan will be required. The OSM calculator will need to be included, as well as a drainage report and an infiltration investigation if the site is required to evaluate the feasibility of infiltration or to prove infeasibility of infiltrating BMPs. Please also note that additional submittal requirements may apply. Stormwater review requirements continued. In the last slide, we talked about the basic new plus replaced hard surface thresholds for drainage review. However, there are a few additional stormwater review triggers that are not determined by the new plus replaced hard surfaces. Stormwater review is required for all projects that require a grading permit. Stormwater review is required if you are applying for a subdivision, short plat, unit lot subdivision, or lot boundary adjustment. Some projects with activities that are likely to require source control BMPs may require stormwater review. Projects that propose any new hard surface on Category 1 peat settlement sites require stormwater review. Sites with greater than 5,000 square feet of land disturbing activity or demolition require stormwater review. Projects that propose new or replaced hard surface or any land disturbing activity on, adjacent to, or within environmentally critical areas may trigger drainage review. New hard surfaces. Before we move on to the different stormwater management thresholds, I want to review some important definitions and concepts, some of which have changed or are new to the 2026 code update. We'll start with hard surfaces, as it is important to understand this since most review thresholds are determined by the amount of proposed new plus replaced hard surface. New hard surface means the creation of a hard surface or the conversion, modification, or upgrade of an existing hard surface to another hard surface. Examples of a new hard surface include, but are not limited to, converting, modifying, or upgrading, such as the following: vegetation, lawn, dirt, or other earthen material to a hard surface, for example, compacted gravel, packed earthen material, permeable pavement, a bituminous surface treatment such as chip seal, asphalt, concrete, or a structure. Gravel to permeable pavement, chip seal, asphalt, concrete, or a structure. A hard surface to a modified hard surface, for example, grading an existing parking area and repaving. A hard surface to a structure, or a structure to another hard surface, or another structure not otherwise meeting the definition of replaced hard surface. If asphalt or concrete has been overlaid by a chip seal, the existing condition is considered asphalt or concrete. If, for a structure, the existing foundation is removed, or for any other hard surface, the subgrade or base course grade elevation is modified beyond what is required to repair the existing hard surface or base course, then the structure or other hard surface is a new hard surface. Refer to Seattle Municipal Code subsection 28.801.150.n as in Nancy. Replaced hard surfaces. Replaced hard surface means, one, for structures, the removal of the structure down to, for example, exposing the top of, the foundation without removing the foundation and replacement of the structure. And two, for other hard surfaces, the removal of the surface down to the existing base course or exposing the top of the subgrade and replacement, including repair of the base course layer. As shown in orange, note that in the 2026 code, replaced now includes situations where a structure is removed down to a foundation, but the foundation, slab, or basement is to remain. Approved point of discharge for stormwater. Stormwater, subsurface drainage, and sanitary points of connection are usually identified in the Preliminary Assessment Report, or the PAR. If your project did not receive a PAR, contact SPU to make this determination using the email address sidesewerinfo@seattle.gov. Stormwater points of discharge include the public storm system, such as a storm main, or alley discharge, which is applicable to small projects only, providing less than 5,000 square feet of new or replaced hard surface where a curb and gutter exists. The public combined sewer is an approved point of discharge. An on-site infiltration/dispersion can also be an approved point of discharge. This is often referred to as no off-site point of discharge. Closely related projects. Closely related projects must be evaluated as one when determining stormwater thresholds. See Volume 1, Section 2.1.2 of the 2026 Stormwater Manual for the code excerpt, Closely Related Projects. Closely related projects means two or more projects that are concurrently under review, have issued permits not yet approved for final construction, or both, and share any of the following physical or functional interdependencies. 1. A feature physically spans the property lines between lots or project sites, such as shared structures, shared driveways, shared pedestrian access, including easements to rights-of-way, shared drainage and utility designs, foundation footings, or retaining walls. For purposes of this subsection, abutting driveways or pedestrian accesses are not considered to span the property lines if the required driveway or pedestrian access width for each project independently meets development standards. 2. A shared driveway is proposed to access a parking area for more than one project, regardless of whether the parking is required. 3. Parking, including maneuvering, aisle requirements, or other parking-related easements, regardless of whether the parking is required, is proposed to be provided or partially provided on the site of another project, even if the project sites do not abut each other. 4. Proposed structures are joined or share a common wall. 5. Proposed projects share required open space, amenity area, or both. 6. The design of two or more project sites are dependent on grading, construction of retaining walls or foundations, or both across the lot lines or project sites. 7. One site is required to permanently access, construct, and maintain the structures or development features on an abutting or adjacent site. And 8. Other features that create a physical or functional interdependence between the projects. As shown in orange, note that under the new code, projects that meet the definition of closely related but may bridge the gap between review and construction will be considered closely related projects as described here. Common Plan of Development. Entirely new to the 2026 code is the definition for Common Plan of Development or Sale. See Volume 1, Section 2.1.3 of the 2026 Stormwater Manual for the code excerpt related to Common Plan of Development or Sale. Common Plan of Development or Sale means a site where multiple separate and distinct construction activities may be taking place at different times, on different schedules, and/or by different contractors, but still under a single plan. Examples of Common Plan of Development or Sale include, but are not limited to, phased projects and projects with multiple filings/lots, even if the separate phases or filings/lots will be constructed under separate contract by separate owners, for example, a development where lots are sold to separate builders. 2. A development plan that may be phased over multiple years, but is still considered under a consistent plan for long-term development. 3. Projects in a contiguous area that may be unrelated, but still under the same contract, such as construction of a building extension and a new parking lot at the same facility. And 4, linear projects such as roads, pipelines, or utilities. Stormwater management thresholds. Refer to Seattle Municipal Code, Section 22.805.050, parcel-based project thresholds. On-site stormwater management remains unchanged in the new 2026 code, and 1,500 square feet of new plus replaced hard surface triggers OSM. Flow control in combined sewer basins also remains the same. 5,000 square feet of new plus replaced hard surface triggers flow control in combined sewer basins. Flow control in creek basins also remains unchanged in the 2026 code, as 5,000 square feet of new plus replaced hard surface triggers flow control in creek basins. Flow control in small lake basins has increased in threshold in the 2026 code. Previously, 2,000 square feet of new plus replaced hard surface would trigger flow control in these basins, and in the 2026 code, 5,000 square feet of new plus replaced hard surface will trigger flow control in small lake basins. Flow control in capacity-constrained basins also changes in the 2026 code. Previously, 2,000 square feet of new plus replaced hard surface would trigger flow control. Now, 5,000 square feet of new plus replaced hard surface will trigger flow control in capacity-constrained basins. Water quality remains unchanged in the new code, and still 5,000 square feet of pollution-generating surfaces will trigger flow control. Note that projects on an adjusted parcel trigger OSM at 750 square feet of new plus replaced hard surface, and those parcels are defined as lots that changed in size or were created after 2016. On-site stormwater management. There are two methods to meet the OSM requirement. You can either use the list approach or the performance standard. The on-site list approach, using the list approach calculator, requires you to choose a BMP in the highest category feasible. All BMPs are pre-sized except for rainwater harvesting. If you use the on-site performance standard, you are able to choose BMPs to meet discharge requirements. This requires continuous rainfall runoff modeling and requires a report and sizing calculations signed and sealed by a PE. As described in the Seattle Municipal Code, on-site stormwater management shall be installed to the extent allowed by law and maintained in compliance with the rules promulgated by the director to receive flows from that portion of the site being developed, and shall comply with either subsection 22.805.070.c, the on-site performance standard, or subsection 22.805.070.d, the on-site list approach. Why choose one over the other? Projects that choose to utilize the performance standard for satisfying on-site stormwater management requirements can choose BMPs to implement regardless of the predetermined priority found in the list approach calculator, but do require a licensed engineer and further documentation. Projects that elect to follow the list approach calculator for selecting and sizing BMPs must evaluate BMPs in order of predetermined priority, but typically save on design costs by not needing a licensed professional to complete the project's OSM design. On-site stormwater management continued. The first link here is a link on our website to the Excel spreadsheet titled On-Site Stormwater List Calculator. The list approach calculator was created so applicants can comply with OSM requirements without needing to hire an engineer or design professional. Shown here in orange text for the 2026 code update, cisterns have both jumped up one category in priority of evaluation, and bioretention sizing has been increased. The calculator is updated periodically. Please use the most up-to-date version from the website with each new project. Use the preliminary assessment report to complete the project summary in the calculator. Be sure to enable content in Excel. Combine as many surfaces as possible for clarity, but separate surfaces that may flow to different BMPs or have different infeasibility criteria that apply. Be sure to submit the entire workbook output as a separate document. Expect this to be over 10 pages of output when using the list approach option, or 3 to 4 pages when using the performance standard. Flow control. The definition of flow control, as found in Seattle Municipal Code subsection 22.801.070f, means controlling the discharge rate, flow duration, or both, of drainage water from the site through means such as infiltration or detention. A flow control facility is a drainage control facility for controlling the discharge rate, flow duration, or both of drainage water from a site. Refer to Seattle Municipal Code subsection 22.801.070f. The 158-year time series in 2026, as shown in orange, will now be referred to as SEPS 99, SEPTS, or the Seattle Extended Precipitation Time Series. Also new in 2026, large projects that include more than 10,000 square feet of new plus replace hard surface area and that meet any of the following criteria must implement construction flow control. The site discharge is within a quarter mile of an open creek or wetland. There is a known flooding, erosion, or sediment problem downstream of the site, or the site discharges to a capacity-constrained system or its basin. You are allowed to use future flow control devices for construction flow control. The two links at the bottom are helpful for applicants. The first is a pre-sized flow control and water quality calculator, and the second is our modeling checklist. This takes you to the drainage review checklist, the second half of which our stormwater reviewers use when reviewing projects that have stormwater modeling. Water quality. Projects trigger water quality treatment if they provide greater than 5,000 square feet of new plus replaced pollution generating surface, such as parking lots, roads, and under-drained sports fields. When triggered, water quality treatment BMPs must be installed to treat flows from the pollution generating hard surface and pollution generating pervious surface on the site being developed. Water quality treatment BMPs typically remove pollutants through a combination of gravity settling, filtration, biological uptake, and soil absorption. When stormwater flows from other areas, including non-pollution generating hard surfaces, such as roofs, dewater activities, and flows that cannot be separated or bypassed, water quality treatment BMPs must be sized for the combined total flow. As shown in orange, new in 2026, Green Lake is now considered a nutrient critical receiving water for projects within 1/4 mile of Green Lake whose discharge enters the lake. Also new in 2026, enhanced treatment is now referred to as metals treatment. Source control. Stormwater source control contains contamination at its origin using non-structural best management practices, including berming around fueling facilities, closing dumpsters, covering outdoor storage, and cleaning up spills immediately. Please see the summary of changes to the manual on the Stormwater Code page for a comprehensive list of changes to Source Control Volume 4 Seattle Stormwater Manual. Here are a few of the significant changes in 2026. PFAS pollutants from rubber preservatives, including 6 ppdq, PAHs, and PCBs, have been added as targeted pollutants. The manual update added pH as a measure of potential pollution to the descriptions of typical pollutants. More information on the management of targeted contaminants can be found in Volume 4, Section 1.3 of the 2026 Stormwater Manual. New in 2026 is BMP 4, Proper Storage of Solid Wastes, provides new guidance on managing trash enclosures and dumpster requirements. Also new in 2026 is BMP 8, Constructed Dog Runs, now includes at-grade dog runs rather than just rooftop dog runs. Infiltration testing. There are two main types of infiltration tests. The simple infiltration test, whose checklist is the first link, is for projects under 1,500 square feet of new plus replaced hard surface and have an approved point of discharge. These tests may be performed by an unlicensed person. The pilot infiltration test, both small and large, is for projects over 1,500 square feet of new and replaced hard surface or that do not have an approved point of discharge. These tests must be performed by a licensed engineer or geologist of the state of Washington. That checklist is found in the second link. Stormwater Plan. The new for 2026 Stormwater Plan replaces the Drainage and Wastewater Construction Plan, referred to as the DWC. This plan may be used for all projects that require stormwater review. Note that if your project has 5,000 square feet or greater of new plus replaced hard surface or 10,000 square feet or greater of land disturbing activity, your plan must be stamped by a professional engineer. Please contact SPU at sidesewerinfo@seattle.gov for information regarding wastewater review and side sewer permitting. Construction stormwater control. Fun fact, construction stormwater control is required of all projects in the city of Seattle, not just those that trigger stormwater review. Projects with less than 5,000 square feet of new and replaced hard surface or land disturbance no longer require a custom construction stormwater control plan. The new Small Construction Stormwater Control Soil Management CSC Soil Standard Plan is made to be submitted as is without edits. This is new for 2026. For projects with 5,000 square feet or more of new and replaced hard surface or demolition permits with 5,000 square feet or more of land disturbance, a custom construction stormwater control and soil management plan sheet is required. Use the updated standard notes and standard details on your stamped plans. Standard details and notes. As we saw earlier in the presentation in a tour of the SDCI Stormwater website, we have various resources available for plan creation and design. Here's a list of some of the most common and useful documents we have available for applicants. The SDCI Stormwater Details PDF and CAD files, an extra stormwater detail plan sheet template in PDF and CAD, SDCI Stormwater Notes in PDF and CAD, Stormwater Review Checklist and a Modeling Review Checklist. This is what our reviewers use for stormwater review. And the SPU Allowable Permeable Pavement Wearing Course Materials. We get a lot of questions about what is allowed regarding alternative permeable pavements. This document helps illustrate what has been approved in the past. Tips and tricks to expedite review. We've put together a list of some resources and information to help cut down on pesky review cycles and avoid long, drawn-out review processes. Use the Stormwater Review Checklist. This document is what our reviewers use when reviewing stormwater plans. Be thorough and carefully review your work. Try not to get it 95% perfect and trigger correction because you omitted something. Review your work. Contact the Stormwater Review team through the Seattle portal for project-specific questions. If you are in review or have an approved permit, reach out to the reviewer assigned to that project. For more in-depth project review meetings, schedule paid coaching. It is small, focused, and so far proven to be successful at reducing extra review cycles for easily addressed comments and formatting. Review all the training available on the SDCI Stormwater Code page. Contact us. The SDCI Stormwater Review team is available to answer questions. Follow the instructions on the SDCI Contact Us page or use the chat icon in the lower right corner of the SDCI homepage. Both paths get you to a reviewer for the stormwater team. We will also have training and virtual question and answer sessions starting in early July. Keep an eye on our website. Visit the Stormwater Code page for all documents discussed in this presentation. The link is posted at the bottom of this slide. Just like Kermit is feeling shown here, we're sad this training is concluding, but excited to help in the future. Thank you.